How's it going, guys? Welcome to Cybercast episode 67, the Transformer Video Podcast. I am Josh, also known as G1 Hextron. I'm joined with my co-host, Dakota, PrimalSabbath, and also Jaim, Victory-Saber-77. We're also joined by our special guest, Kari, from Karyuudo
Fansubs. Karyuudo Fansubs.
There you go.
That's okay, yeah. For all you guys want to know, Karyuudo means hunter, actually, in Japanese, or hunter of men or hunter of people, so... That's
there you go.
Yeah, so there you go. But you guys can just call me Kari for short. It's probably easier than trying to pronounce Karyuudo all the time. So, and thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, no problem, man. The way we're going to kind of do this episode, because we have the special guest, we're going to kind of get into the discussion with him, or the kind of informal interview with him in the beginning. Then we'll kind of get into the news, and then we'll also get into why we're kind of getting out of the news stuff. There's going to be some changes with the Cybercast Network website and some other things as well. But why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, Dakota? Tell people where they can find you.
I'm Dakota, and you can find me everywhere at everything at PrimalSabbath.
Jaim?
I'm Jaim. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube, Victory-Saber-77.
Kari, you have any links or anything?
Yeah, I mean, you can find our page on Twitter. I was going to say Twitter. I'm sorry, on Facebook under Karyuudo Fansubs. So that's Karyuudo, and then Fansubs, and you should be able to pull up and just like our page there. And also on, I've got that blogspot as well, which is karyuudofansubs.blogspot.com. So if you like, check it out there.
All right, and you can find me, G1 Hextron, on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page, the G1 Hextron. And you can also follow our community stuff, our website, cybercastnetwork.com, our Twitter, cybercastnet, Facebook page, Cybercast Network. And the YouTube is not going to be there anymore, or it's still going to be around, but we're not going to be active on it. But like I said, we'll get into that towards the end of this Cybercast. But just kind of starting off with the kind of the non-formal interview with you, I guess kind of the first thing that we kind of wanted to know is, what made you kind of get into this?
Okay, well, basically, this goes back almost, we'll say about 8 years. My wife and I were just kind of sitting down and just watching through some Transformer episodes and whatnot. Like, she's no Transformer fan, right? But she sat down and watched some episodes. We watched Super Link together, and also Galaxy Force when TV Nihon was doing it. And then at one point we sat down and I showed her like some fan subs that were done by somebody by the name of Lio Convoy 2K. I don't know who the heck that was, but my wife right away, she's like, this translation is all made up. It's not real. And then I said, yeah, I didn't, like, from when I watched it, I was like, yeah, it didn't sound right to me, but I wasn't, I'm not, I'm not a native speaker of Japanese, right? So, and so I said to her, like, why don't we try and, just translate this properly and put this out, right? So she agreed to do, some episodes. So we did the first disc, and then at that time also my first son was just born, so it became kind of hard to do fan subbing and also, taking care of a baby, at the same time. So we kind of put it on hold for a few months, and then during that time I was also doing some tutoring with students for English, and one of my students, she offered to help out with another 4 episodes. And then sometime after that, another one of my friends who also married a Japanese lady, she offered to do another 4. And so at that point, I think it was about 2006, and then things just got too busy and crazy. So after 12 episodes, it was like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to have to shelve this. So, I just don't have time anymore. And fast forwarding to last year, one of my former students, she went back to Japan, and she was looking to, continue some of her English skills, and she was interested in translating. Sounds like kind of fun. So she offered to help restart the project. So through that, we started working on several episodes, and then one of the things that I really enjoyed with our discussions was learning about a lot of the culture that was behind the show, and then realizing that if I was going to translate, with her the remainder of the show, you would need some kind of like a reference guide or whatnot, which is why with our release, it kind of went slightly overboard, but there's a lot of details about like little things, and even when going back to watch some of the older episodes, like the first episode, there's like Fire Convoy meets Yuki for the first time at the Yamashita Park, and you hear this bell in the background. So at one point I was talking with my wife about that, and I said, where's that bell coming from? Is that in the park in Japan? She goes, no, that's coming from the fire truck. I'm like, what? What do you mean it's coming from the fire truck? I'm like, she's like, oh, all the fire trucks in Japan traditionally they all have bells on them as well as the electric fire, and it's just a traditional thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I had no idea. So I started, I added little small details like that. But going back to when we were working on these episodes, unfortunately, her name's Mochiko. She wasn't able to do much more than 17 episodes, 17 or 18 episodes just because of work. And then some of my other former students, they offered to jump in and help with an episode or two. And then finally, I found my main scripter, who's Rusi, and she offered to do the rest. And my wife jumped in, here and there, and did a script or two with me promising that she'd never have to do any more scripting again. So basically the process of just to give you an idea of how it works, get someone who's a native speaker to go through the episode, watch it, and script, and I've already done the timing ahead of time, right, for when the subtitles should come up, and then they write in what's in Japanese on there, and then I pull up a dictionary, read through, see if I can translate it straight, or if not, because there's a lot of lines and stuff that have, sometimes it's like a cultural expression, and if you translate it straight out, it makes no sense, and which is another reason why I have the reference guide in there, because there's quotes from old shows that are from like the 1960s. There's like what I don't know, they'll have an expression that you'll look at and you're like, what does that mean? But it actually means something else, so I have to change it. And, there's jokes as well. Some of the jokes are the worst part to translate, I'll tell you. Like that's I want to put me on suicide watch trying to translate a joke from Japanese to English and still try to keep the same expression. It's nuts. So I don't know. And then I have, after I've done my translation, I have someone who's a little bit more, better with both language, like Japanese and English, to actually take a look over the translation that I've done and say, okay, well, all of this is right. This line, I've changed this because it's just I don't know, the reference is a little bit incorrect or whatnot. So, there's there's a lot of different things and a lot of going back and forth and whatnot. So, yeah, and so basically for the last year, we're trying our best to get this thing done and get it out. So, and I didn't really make too many formal announcements saying that, hey, this is officially coming out now or whatnot, because I didn't want people to come up to us and say, oh, when's the next episode? When are you coming out with this? Like, I waited until we had completely translated everything, and then it was just a case of tweaking some stuff, and then it's like, within a month's time, like, we can make this release. So, yeah. So that's pretty much the history lesson on how this came to be.
And see, I think waiting like that was the best way to do it. That way, just in case something ever did come up, like you said, that what was it, an 8-year gap?
Yeah.
That would have been pretty sour to some of the people within our beloved fandom that don't quite understand, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that was awesome. I mean, it was literally overnight, and that's what really surprised me. I was like, oh, so I don't have to wait weekly for a new one to get released or whatever. I can just get it all right here, right now. Mm-hmm. And that to me was very, very awesome.
Yeah, and we took a lot of pride in trying to make sure, like, the translation was as as correct as possible. I'm sure there's still mistakes here and there. I mean, you know, sorry, we're doing this for free. We're trying our best, right? Like one of the guys who really helped me was Gumo, and he scoured the internet for like as much information as possible with the katakana, which is basically like how Japanese would write foreign words. So any kind of katakana spelling of like the attack names. He would dig up like reference information about like the O parts, right? I mean, a lot of translators out there, they translate O parts O-parts, and it really should be out of place artifacts. It's a correct term, but most translators, I guess, don't know that. And he was like, you make sure you throw that in and you get that correct. I'm like, okay, all right, that's good, right? And he provided me with a Karyuudo book, which had some a whole bunch of like pictures and whatnot. It was like a book for kids or whatever, right? But even that had like some information, like that, a technical spec on Fire Convoy, and it points out clearly that he has a spark in his body, even though in the show they only ever make one reference to the spark engines, and that's in one of the recap episodes. There's all these little things and whatnot they helped me with, and I really appreciate all the work they did. I mean, my entire team, I can't thank enough. Like it was a lot of work, and it's a lot of stress for some people, like my wife, who I constantly bug. I'm like, yeah, can you script tonight? And she's like, no, I'm not in the mood. I'm like, jeez. But she's not like a huge Transformer fan, and to do something that's not really something which is her hobby, right? It's it's kind of hard to get the energy and the motivation to go into it. But she did do a lot for me, and same with like Rusui and Mochiko and Sanchi and Take and Nana and Nina. Like Nina went through and fixed all my bad Japanese, and then even Brave Max, who from PrimalSabbath, he jumped in at the end and helped out because he's like bilingual as well in English and Japanese, and he helped correct a lot of the jokes and whatnot, especially in the episode, I believe it was 35, which was the recap there, and that was a load off my mind because that was really tough. And I made sure that, especially at the end with the episode 39, that he took a good look at that, because I found it was really odd with Double Gigatron's his conversation with Godfire Convoy at the end there, and I was like, this sounds really weird. Like it sounds like it's a little bit philosophical or whatnot. So he went in there and he said, yeah, he goes, yeah, it's exactly what you would translate it, and he tweaked it a little bit, but yeah. I just wanted to make sure that if we were going to put something out, it was as best quality as possible, and make sure that the fans would enjoy it. Yeah.
Awesome. Dakota, did you have any questions?
Yeah. I'll take, because I think the first two that we have listed were pretty much just answered. Did you always consider doing car robots first?
It just kind of happened. It was never really a what show should be done first. It was just out of like, hey, let's just do this for fun. It was
Yeah.
And the rest is history kind of thing, right? It was never like, oh, we have to do this. But it was
just playing a game of darts, and there's all the different series that need a touch up.
That's right.
Just lands on car robots. Well, that'll do it.
Like I mean, really, it really boiled down to that one guy, Lio Convoy 2K, which I don't know who the heck that was, who did a made-up translation. I kind of felt like, this. Why don't you make a made-up translation? Like it's like, if you're gonna do a translation out there, make sure it's real, right? Because
Yeah.
Because then you get called out, right? And then they're like, this is fake, right? It's like, it's like, come on. So I guess everyone's got really this Lio Convoy 2K guy to thank for pissing me off, making me want to translate the whole series. So
just put them on blast.
That's right. That's right. So. Yeah.
Jaim?
The next question I think we already answered. How long did it take to finish Car Robots project? That was, you said, 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, it really shouldn't do that. Like, Like it shouldn't take that long, but it all depends on like how much time one has. Like if you're being realistic about translating an entire show with like spare time on your hands, I don't know, like say like if it was to be like Beast Wars 2, like it could take a year, it could take more. I mean, it all depends on how much time one has. I mean you could plow through it if you want. If you said, yeah, we're gonna just dedicate the next like I don't know, like month and a half to every day we're gonna do a translation. I mean, you'd probably be spending a good at least 2 to 3 hours if you were fully bilingual. Yeah, you could script and translate the whole thing out really quickly. But there's always things that you'll come across where it's like I don't understand this expression. And another thing a lot of people don't understand when we're doing these fan subs is that we don't actually have a script to begin with, right? I mean, that's why I need a scripter. And even for that person who's scripting, sometimes it's really hard to hear the audio. Like, it's not always crystal clear. Like, there's, I think it was episode 18, I think, where Fire Convoy, he uses his fire knuckle against, I think it was to save that girl Junko from her car being sliced in half by Black Convoy. And he says, it sounds like it says barter knuckle. Like, he uses a different variation of fire knuckle, and it says barter knuckle. And I'm like, is that correct or not? I couldn't find any reference anywhere. Guillermo couldn't find anything, and it didn't matter who listened to it. They were like, yeah, I don't know. It could be barter knuckle, could be battle knuckle. Who knows? Like, it's just not very clear, and without any like actual this is how it's written. Like, even after I did this release, one guy, Walderslaw, he said, I have a whole bunch of like scanned material for car robots. And one of the things was a model sheet from Gigatron, and then I'm looking at it and I'm just like, oh my god, I screwed up one of the attack names, because at first it sounded to me like it said it was Ryudo Beam, which I thought was like maybe like Flow Beam, but actually it ended up being Yudo Beam, like, and that is just like I think it was like a tractor beam kind of, or something that like. Or gravity beam or something to that extent. I can't remember exactly, but so I had to go back and I tweaked the subtitle and did a second release and said, sorry guys, it was. But I mean, it's things like that. You won't know unless you actually have a proper script. So.
With that being said, you said a month and a half going full force for Beast Wars 2nd. I'm quitting my job Monday. Getting results down, and I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
There, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's translating. It's a lot of work. It's tough. Like, I mean, translators are paid well for a good reason. I mean, it's not really a job that I would want to be doing full time, but it's nice to get the appreciation at the end for for the amount of like hard work that goes into doing like a series like this. I think I maybe had a couple of people that said, "Oh, we have the English version of Robots in Disguise. This is a waste of time." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
I know Disney has the English version of Robots in Disguise, and that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, right? I really wish Hasbro, like when they bring these series over here, like. I wish they would pay for the rights to, at least bring the Japanese track and have somebody, translate it, I mean, it's nice that we have, Headmasters, Master Force and Victory, finally available. I mean, even though the translation was slightly altered here and there, whatnot, to suit, I don't know, somebody's needs. I don't know why. But at least, we can see those in the original format, right?
Yeah.
Jaim, you have another one?
Sure. Let me see here. So, have the fans been pretty positive? I mean, they've been really receptive towards your fans.
Like from most of the people I was chatting through in the forums on TFW2005.com, like they seemed to be quite happy with what was released. And one guy said he really appreciated the reference guide and whatnot. You got a few people over at the AllSpark forum, like they appreciated it, and they have a new respect actually for the series, since all they knew before was robots in disguise, and they're like, wow, this is there's a lot of different changes that were made for the American version. And one thing that we did, because I know how picky Transformer fans can be, is we released our scripts as well that came along with the release, because I know there's several folks that were like, oh, we don't like how you translated some of the, or you Englishized the name of like Gusher or Gildor or whatever. They say, oh, well, why didn't you use the English names, or why didn't you spell it like this? And so I figured, like, to end all arguments, just release the files. They can go and reauthor the movie files, like with each of the subtitles as they please if they want, right? So, which usually most groups don't do. A lot of people do like what's called hard subbing, where the subtitles are like basically plastered onto the video file and you can't turn them on or off. So we kind of went a little above and beyond what is the usual norm. So. I mean, I don't really care either way, which is soft sub or hard sub. To me, it's just like whatever. It's how we decide to release it. So.
Now, I had a question about, because we have some friends, and I know our buddy Paul. He said that he just can't do subtitles, and so for someone like him, like he's never seen the Headmasters, Master Force Victory, all that stuff, because he said he just can't deal with the subtitles. He has to have it in English. What is someone really missing between, like, they hear the English translation where it's dubbed or however it's done, and then you actually have the Japanese subtitles? Like what you're doing. So what's the big difference to where people need to actually, even if they've seen the English version, they need to actually watch that as well?
Well, like the Japanese version, like especially for car robots, there's a lot of like Japanese culture that's mixed into it. Like I mean, it's a very Japanese show, and I don't think a lot of people realize that until they actually watch like the version that we've done, right? Depending on like any kind of like dub versus sub release, I guess it depends on whoever's writing the English dub script, right? You could have someone who wants to keep it as close as possible to the original language try and find several different ways of incorporating it into our culture so that it's correct and we also understand at the same time. But it really just depends on the individual who's going to be bringing it over into English. Like from what I understood, like when Robots in Disguise was brought over into stateside, like I think they had hired a bunch of students at a university or whatever who were learning English, and they gave them they scripted it out for whichever company was it Saban? I can't remember who owned the rights of Robots in Disguise, but and then from that's where they made their changes and whatnot. Like one of the underlying themes that they had in Car Robots was like Fire Convoy would say there's nothing possible for a burning spirit. Like that key line goes throughout the entire series, and in Robots in Disguise it's nowhere to be seen. Like the only thing that Optimus Prime says to Koji at the beginning is like believe in yourself, but it doesn't really flow through anywhere else throughout the series. Whereas like it's always about like like a burning spirit and whatnot in Car Robots. So and like even like Black Convoy comes up with something that says like the flowers of evil as well. Like he's got some funny quote based on some old book or whatever. So it just depends on the person who's doing the dub job. I mean I never blame the actors in the studio because it's not their fault. They're just reading off the script that they've been given, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Dakota, what do you got for us, man?
Well, coming off of the I guess the positive deal, were there any negative responses, and is there anything that you would change about the process?
The only, I mean, you always get some people like, oh, why didn't you do this like this? And that's just a personal opinion. But I don't think
everybody's an expert.
Yeah, the thing is that no one ever came out and said, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this." Like it's I mean, because I think a lot of people are like, "Holy crap!" Somebody released this, and maybe we should all just shut up for 5 minutes and just enjoy what we got, right? So really, we didn't get anything negative. If there was anything I was going to change, like, is just to make sure that if we're going to actually do another series again, that we have a plan in place, and that it's like, okay, let's try and do this and try and aim for it to be done, like at this date or whatever, or try to get X number of episodes done for this point. Take a small break and then maybe do some more and whatnot. So I think it's just a little bit more of the planning phase and making sure that everybody's on board and has the time for it. But sometimes real life gets in the way. You get sick, or or something happens in your family or whatnot, right? So you never know what might happen in real life that'll sidetrack the entire project. So, but I'm just happy that this finally got released. So.
For sure.
Jay?
Are there any other Japanese Transformer series that you think that could use a proper translation? That we have the English version, let's say the Unicron trilogy. Do you think going back and trying to maybe do Galaxy Force or Micron Densetsu or something like that?
Yeah, like Micron Densetsu, it probably could use a translation as well. I mean, from what I've watched the whole thing like years ago, and I came back recently to actually just take a look at it just to see how difficult it would be, and it is a lot easier. Even my 8-year-old, who's now becoming he's learning Japanese on Saturday school. Like even he can understand a lot of Micron Densetsu, and he can tell me exactly what they're saying, line for line. So I'm like, oh, okay, that seems pretty easy compared to like car robots, because there's not a lot of Japanese culture that's mixed in with Micron Densetsu. Whereas if you look at a series like Beast Wars Second and Beast Wars Neo, there's still a lot. It's kind of in some ways like car robots, where they have a lot of Japanese jokes. Like there's that one character in Beast Wars Second, I think it's Scuba, who's the squid, and there's always a squid joke that's being said to him, or he's making some squid joke, and I'm like, how the hell are we going to translate this, right?
You translate it proper, because that would be hilarious. No.
And some of them are they're really bad jokes as well, right? And you're like, man, how do I translate this? This is going to be nuts, man. So yeah, it's if there's 3 series left, I mean, I would say there'd be like Beast Wars the Second, Neo, and Micron Densetsu that they really need translations. The translations that TV Nihon did for what was it was it Superlink and Galaxy Force were pretty decent. When my wife was watching it with me, she pointed out a couple mistakes, but she said for the most part it was a really good translation. So, and those guys worked hard on it. I mean, that's a lot of work. Like those guys were pumping an episode out like a few days right after the air date. So that was pretty impressive, back then. So.
If I could ask one more, I'm sorry to kind of, since we were sort of already on the topic of Beast Wars Second and Beast Wars Neo.
I wasn't gonna ask that.
I know, dude. 'Cause if you were gonna take that thunder from me, like I would have walked off the show. I would have Axl Rosed the Cybercast. But is that basically like? I mean, you don't have to give me a for sure thing. Just say yes. Are those are those 2 series? And it's kind of a 2-part question. Are they going to be what you're going to be working on next, or is it still just kind of like we're just going to throw darts until we make Dakota happy?
We'll see about again. I can't promise anything. My team can't promise anything. But I mean, there's only 3 series left, so
yeah.
Take your pick.
Beast Wars Second, if we have to start from with that being said, though, do you guys actually have the any of the videos for Second and Neo?
Yes, yeah, I have the DVDs for Second and Neo, so the original R2. So
I'm going to contact you after the show ends.
I knew it.
they're all in raw format, and there's no. I really wish
That's all
these
I
guys
want.
had
That's all I
He just
want.
wants to watch
I
it.
want to watch it. That's all. I don't even want to understand it. I just want to watch it.
Yeah, the animation though in Beast Wars Second and Neo, oh man, like there's sometimes it looked good, and then there's other times it was you can really tell that they did a lot of outsourcing with their animation around that time. It looks pretty bad. I don't know which is worse, like Micron Densetsu or Beast Wars Second.
Micron Densetsu.
Actually, but at least they went back and fixed some of the animation though for the DVDs of Micron Densetsu. Yeah.
Funny thing about that though is the reason that Beast Wars Second, Beast Wars Neo even exist is because it was taking way too long for Japan to dub the Canadian series. I'm not even gonna call it the American series, but that's where those two. So I mean, they kind of had to do it on the fly, essentially. So
yeah,
very neat.
Yeah, man. I wish. Yeah, it's too bad that Beast Wars Second and Neo weren't done like with mainframes like animation style and whatnot. It's kind of crappy, crappy cell-generated animation. It's kind of like pushed out the door as fast as possible, just to sell toys and whatnot. So, I don't know. But.
All right. Before Dakota jumped me, I was looking on the website, and I saw on there that you've done Street Fighter 2, the movie, you've done Final Fantasy 7, Last Order. There's a couple of other things on here. One thing that kind of stood out was Transformers Zone, and I kind of talked to you about that off air, and you said that you kind of did that a while back, and you'd like to kind of do an update on it.
Yes, because actually even Guillermo, he actually asked me to do an update for it. He's like, hey dude, it's been like years since you released that. You should probably do a new version of that, and just and release it again. So I'm like, okay, and it's one of those things that it won't take too long to put together. So I should probably try and do it sooner than later. But it's trying to make time to do this stuff. After a year of scripting and translating and spending my late nights after work, I just kind of wanted a bit of free time. Same with like the rest of the team. So I didn't want to harass them too much.
I see here in the chat that Dakota already left you all his contact information.
Giving away my street address, my social security, driver's license number.
I see it here. Yeah, I see the chat here. Okay.
Would you be interested in doing like Scramble City?
Yeah, that's another series that I've got DVD for that as well. Yeah, it should that. I know that there was a release of it like years ago, and I don't know how accurate the translation is. Although I think it probably wasn't too bad, but it's it's only one episode, right?
Yeah.
And I mean a lot of it's just recap stuff, right, at the beginning. And
a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the only version I have is they released it back on one of the anniversary movie editions, and it has the producers or directors talking over it at the same time.
Yes,
which is kind of a pain to listen to them talking about something, and it's like I just want to watch the episode. I
think it was only just like it was a bunch of guys that had just they were just commenting on it, and they didn't even have. I don't even think they had the. They probably didn't have the rights to the audio. And so that's why they just threw these guys, talking on top, right? It's like, what's the point of doing this, right? Why don't you just like release it as is, but or even get people that sounded close to the original cast and just dub it, like throw some money into it, Hasbro, come on.
Jaim, you want to, I guess, tackle that last one, and if we have anything else, then we can kind of save it towards the end.
The last question, okay. Are there any legal issues that you've encountered surrounding certain titles?
We're not going to talk about legalities.
Okay.
We're all, like the thing is, like we all know the legalities behind fan subbing and whatnot. I mean, we're like after the release, there was a bunch of people, not a bunch. bunch. Well, maybe a couple people on the TFW 2005 board that they offered to donate money to our group, and I flat out refused because
I was one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, how much do you have? No, I'm just kidding.
I have a blank check. You just tell me what number to write down, and
A green Rambulance.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not about the money. It's about getting the show out there, getting the fans to be able to understand what it was like in the original show. Like that's what this is about. Like any kind like monetary gain, like no, it's like because first of all, I own no rights to car robots, and I mean I'm sure that after this got released, I'm sure the company in Japan was like, oh, who's this Karyuudo guy who released this? Would love to throw some, our lawyers after him. But, it's.
I'm sure Disney called the Kill Squad because they were American.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if Disney's watching this, guys, take the subtitles that we've done, check them over, because you guys got the money for it, and do a bilingual version, car robots and robots in disguise for the fans. It'd be nice because I mean, the idea is that it's out there for people to enjoy. It's not about money at all.
Well, kind of speaking of that, I mean, would you? Like, if you were ever approached by, say, Disney, Shout Factory, any of those, that consider doing something with them, kind of as kind of a commission, like.
Well, the thing is that I'm not like I'm no way a professional translator, so unfortunately I would have to decline. I know other people that I would I could refer them to and say this person would be a lot better than me. I mean I'm just simply using like a dictionary, and my knowledge of Japanese, because my wife and I, we speak it casually, right? I'm not, I'm in no way like, fully bilingual, but it's, I can translate stuff and then, have someone say, hey, yeah, this is correct, or no, it's not correct, right? So, but I mean, Show Factory, since they have the licenses for so many other things, I really wish that they, even if they could just grab car robots and not even do robots in disguise, go ahead, use our subs, save yourself some time. Because as far as I know, like that's how Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory came to light. Is that there were fan subs out there already, and so they had to do very little work at all, other than just saying, hey, here's some money for your time to the translator, and taking your subs. That's pretty much it, right?
That's right up their alley. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but hey, whatever. I mean, I don't even care if we get money or not. The fact that it would get, even if it like a retail release, hey, that'd be great. Go by a store and say, hey, yeah, that's nice. We made that happen. That's great. Yeah.
Give us all of your riches. We did this.
Yeah.
You guys have anything before we dive into the news stuff?
No, I don't have anything.
No.
No. All right. So we're gonna get into the news here. We kind of did it a little bit backwards, but if you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments, and we'll tackle those again towards the end. Just wanted to make sure that we kind of covered quite a few things here, and you got a really good feel of what Kari's got to offer here, and I'm gonna make sure that I leave his link to his blogspot in the description, and also the link to is the link separate for your blogspot, and also where they can download it, or is it the same? They can find it all in your blogspot.
Well, if they go to the blogspot, they'll send them to the link over at NeoTorrents, and you can download it at your leisure.
Okay, I'll just leave a link in the description to the blogspot.
Real quick, Trents5, he just had a question. I'm not gonna ask it, or I'm not gonna repeat it. It's Burning Convoy, Burning Beast Convoy, however you want to say that.
Yes.
For Trents5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, the comments, they're not even showing up for me, so, but that's pretty common. So. All right, so the first thing here is, I think this started today, Transformers Universe. They have the open beta So as you can see, if you just go to transformeruniverse.com, or even if you just Google Transformers Universe, it's the first thing that pulls up. You can see that you can go over here, play a game. I believe you do have to have a name, register for it.
Now, does it even look that good? That's my question.
I
Have you
haven't
guys tried it?
I haven't played it yet. I was
Yeah.
thinking about streaming it some, maybe today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.
Yeah, I tried it for a little bit, but it's okay. It's all right. It's not bad for a web browser game.
Yeah, I mean, it took them 4 years to make it, but
Yeah, it did take them a while, but then it took us 8 years to make our fansub. So.
but there's payoff to yours. Like,
Thank you.
not trying to be like too negative on it, but I don't know. I'll wait for Josh to stream it.
Yeah.
Everybody can watch me fail. So. All right, now getting into the toys. Takara Movie Advance Wheeljack. That's going to be a deluxe figure, and even though I don't believe we saw this in the movie whatsoever, what do you guys
Is that the
think?
Mercedes? Is that the Q toy
Mercedes.
painted up in Wheeljack colors?
It's a Mercedes.
That's what it looks like.
I think Hasbro had a plan for something like that because they were going to release Q with a more G1 Wheeljack head in the paint job, but I don't think it ever came out because Q never came out. So it's awesome to see that Takara's doing that, and from what it looks like, it looks a little bit better. I'm still not gonna get it though, but for those who want it, that's awesome.
I'm looking down here at his head, and all I can picture is Optimus Prime like walks up behind him and like mistakes it for the Matrix and just like rips his head apart. But I don't know. That's
It's
what
all
it
in
looks.
one.
Oh, sorry, Wheeljack.
Yeah, it
That's
does
what it
look
looks
like the Matrix. Yeah.
All right, next thing is we're going to get a few Takara releases. Here you have the deluxe Tankor. Dakota, you going to get it now?
Still needs to be a Voyager, man. So I'm gonna have to pass. I am selling that Hasbro Rat Trap that I have though.
Yeah, no one was asking about that, but
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there because hey. But no, man, it's still too small. I mean, as a tank drone, it looks all right, but no.
Now, how much more is this one improved than the Hasbro?
Well, I can't really tell any differences because I don't think these are final images, anyways.
No, I don't think so.
So we'll wait. As a Photoshop job, it looks a lot better than the Hasbro Photoshop job. If you want me to make no sense.
Well, I also noticed that these are going under a Transformers Legends, so
with Rat Trap and Primal.
Yeah, we saw that a while back. So these that are coming up that we're about to discuss are part of that Transformers Legends little series or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, which is the new Generation / United line for them. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, it's about to get exciting with the next ones here. Roadbuster. Might go with this one with Takara. I believe that it was Capture Prey that said that they're not going to do it for 65. They're going to do it for 50. So, you're paying twice as much, but I mean it is Takara, and even though that we really can't look at it and see what all the differences would be, I can guarantee you it's going to look a lot better. It's going to be one of those things that Takara is going to outshine the Hasbro.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm still just gonna go with the Hasbro version, though. I've got Hasbro version of Whirl and Cup and Blur. I think the only Takara version, and even Springer, the only Takara record that I have is Drift. So, and I know like you're not a Wreckers guy, so you don't really care. But I don't know, man. We'll have to see.
A wrecker. Those are those cars that are like broke down, sitting on the side of the road. Is that
Yep.
what
That's
okay.
That's a junker, but whatever. It's.
Well, with the Whirl, I've got it. Do all you guys have Whirl already?
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. Well, I know that I think the majority of us grew up with G1, and think I'm gonna have to upgrade to Takara because the Takara Whirl is actually going to be the G1 toy color scheme. I'm digging that.
When you say majority, it's like that's not even that fair. There's 4 of us in here. Just because I'm 23 doesn't mean you're singling me out, and I'm pretty sure I can talk to someone at the labor board about this.
You're gonna call Cybercast and report me.
I'm gonna call our human resources guy, which happens to be Big Convoy on the shelf up there. He don't take kindly to no discrepancies in the workplace.
I'm gonna get this and probably sell my whirl. What do you guys think of this? Because this was something that kind of surprised me, and I was like, oh, sweet, that's actually what I wanted in the first place.
I like those colors, but I don't know, man. I like the one I got too. So
Yeah, I'm keeping the one I got. I have the G1 Whirl, so I don't really need that. So it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are haters.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's okay.
I like it just because it represents the toy the most.
Yeah.
I guess I was on my
Why
own.
don't you just buy the original?
yeah, Josh, just buy the original, dude.
Mortgage your house.
I'll get around to
Hey,
it.
man, even I have a G1 Whirl. No, I don't have a G1 Whirl though.
That would be hilarious.
I'm gonna turn mine into a G1. I'm gonna color some popsicle sticks and put it up under the Generations one. But now looking at the Kids Logics Machinations 6-inch, I believe this is going to be their third 6-inch. They've got the the G1 Optimus Prime. They have the Megatron. Now they're going to have the TF4 Optimus Prime.
And it looks better than like any of the other like Hasbro Optimus Primes that have come out for the line. Like I would gladly put that on my shelf over the leader class.
He just looks so cute.
Dude, he looks mean too. He looks a little buff, for a SD like guy. I mean, or he's not really SD, is he? He's I don't know what do you.
He looks stocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks tough. Looks like he beats guys up.
It's like a midget.
Yeah.
That.
Staying away from it, but the little person. So.
Yeah, the little person. Yeah.
All right, so for you guys that like TF4, and I don't know if this is going to be exactly like a Gundam kit, but it's Dakar's TF4. It's a model kit.
Yeah.
Looks
They
nice.
did it for movie Bumblebee, and didn't they do it for like
Prime.
the first trilogy Prime too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
Really
pretty tight.
superposable model on a metal frame.
Yeah.
Something to that nature.
Now, are you going to have to? Is it like a Gundam kit, and are you going to have to paint this yourself? Any of you guys know?
I know you put it together like a Gundam kit. I don't think you have to paint it yourself. It may be like some Gundam kits where like paint would make it look better. But if I'm not mistaken, it comes looking like he does in the movie for the most part.
And those flames on his wrist are probably more than likely just stickers.
I think they may be painted on.
Okay, so there's going to more than likely be some paint required.
Yeah, because this isn't a cheap model kit. It's like
Yeah.
$100+.
Ooh.
Yeah.
James got 5 on pre-order. No.
Yeah.
He's going to buy them like he does his TMNT foot soldiers.
Yeah,
when we went into the Target, he was like, oh, this could be number 29. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I need an army.
James, you got problems.
I know. I do.
James don't play he don't play no games when it comes to troop building.
All right, so these pictures are courtesy of Ben's Collectibles. The KFC Voyager Tempest for your not Cyclonus.
Can I just buy the nightstick? I just want the nightstick. I mean, it's cool. I don't know. Had they not made Ultra Magnus, like we've said a million times, a masterpiece, I think this would have been. I think this would have been cool, but I don't know. I think since I had to take the landing gear from my Reveal the Shield Cyclonus, I may be in the market for it, but I'm probably not. But it's not terrible.
There it is for in comparison with the Unique Toys Manai King. KFC, I saw that Keith, he posted something on Facebook that I was reading it, and I was kind of laughing to myself about it because there was a mention of stuff that we kind of discussed with the Citizen Stack thing. He said there's a lot of new stuff on the horizon, and he's going to let us all know about it very soon. So we're going to see a lot of new updates for future projects from KFC here soon. But he also kind of apologized for the way they kind of presented the whole first edition or limited edition Citizen Stack or whatever. And he said, there was positive and there was also obviously some negative reactions, so they just wanted to apologize again. So.
That's nice. Well, it's cool that they acknowledge that,
And I didn't use all the pictures here, but I guess he can balance on one foot.
He looks good with that Galvatron, but I don't know, man. I still think the Reveal the Shield looks pretty good with that Galvatron too. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, if that mold wasn't as strong as it is, then maybe I'd consider this. But the Reveal the Shield mold is fine.
Oh, solid, yeah.
And don't forget, you're going to get there's an anime color version of Galvatron as well. See, they waited a while before because the anime version is the one that more than likely everyone wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they both came out at the same time, everyone would more than likely 9 times out of 10 want the anime color version of Galvatron versus this deep purple one. But they waited a certain amount of time from releasing the first one and then announcing that they're coming out with this other one, where I guess the fans of the first one aren't really going to get that mad, or they're like, oh, I'll just sell mine and I'll buy the new one.
Comic book color ones, I liked it.
I know that Dakota, you bought this, and then the next day, like the anime color version one was announced. I was like, hopefully he's not throwing a fit in the hotel room. So
I don't know. The original one has that more IDW feel to it, and that's what I go for. So.
All right, I'm probably gonna say this name wrong. It's Omni. Gunix. It's their V01 spin out. They're not Sunstreaker. They were kind of asking people on their Facebook, what kind of head do you want? A, B, or C?
Oh my goodness.
I think everyone's going with B, right?
Or actually, there was also a D on here, but I think it got eliminated. Yeah, there was a D. So it's here, A, B, C, or D. It's kind of what went like, I don't know, a backward Z here, but I would think B. But kind of refresh you guys. We looked at it last week. This is their basically masterpiece, and they also said there's going to be detachable parts. So like this front end right here, it looks like it might be detachable, to where it you can make it look like a cartoon version or a comic version or a toy version, so that you can get all 3 kind of versions in there without having to buy 3 of them. You can it's simple enough to just retab stuff on there and take it off. Basically what he's going to look like.
I don't know, man. I'm a pretty big purist when it comes to like masterpiece stuff. I think I'm going to still wait for the Dakota one, although this one does look like it's shaping up to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So.
I'd rather get the officially licensed product from Dakota.
Yeah. And Dakota does have the Lamborghini license as well, so I mean this guy can't be too far behind. But if they would have just done this a year ago, or what is it, a little bit over a year ago, before we found out that they were getting us a Lambor, then people would have been all over this. All right, next thing is X2 Toys. It's that add-on trailer for Generations Orion packs. You see that you get a new head. The trailer looks like some other pieces in there. I don't know why people can't take better photos, but yeah, here you go.
I like the shoulder launching.
Shoulder ion
things.
cannons.
Yeah, I like that. It makes them look pretty good. I just don't see why you'd give Orion Pax a trailer. Like that's I don't know. It must be just me, but for me it defeats the purpose. Yeah. He's no Prime yet.
That's right.
Do it again.
I think it'd be funny, like if the trailer, I don't know, like if they even did like a little add-on thing to where, I don't know, I think of goofy stuff like this, but to where there's a panel here that it folds up, and then like these two sticks come down here, and then that way you can put your barbecue pit over here and some lawn chairs.
Sipping back on some Energon while he's just barbecuing.
Since he was Orion Pax, I'd want to give him one of those like mini U-Haul trailers, like not the big ones, but the little bitty ones that you could probably put, I don't know, a small box in. Like
you could take the masterpiece. What is it? Spike in his exosuit, because whenever it transforms, it kind of looks like a little trailer for like a jet ski. Go ahead and attach that to the back of this trailer, and he's like going out to the lake. You just got to find like some little jet ski to put on there. All right, looking at some custom robots. These are your little kind of like super robots you go configures, or your Robotech. These are some of the ones that I took pictures of at BotCon. We've known this for a while, and there he is, Six Shot. So I'm getting that one. We know as well that they're going to be coming out with a great shot. So, Jaim, you'll get that one?
Yeah.
Dakota?
Probably not.
No,
Jack. Tackling some Beast Wars. Maybe put out a big convoy, possibly.
Do you get into any of these SRC figures, or what do you kind of think about the Masterpiece line, and then getting third parties coming out with their versions of Masterpiece figures? What are your kind of collecting habits?
Well, I used to collect a lot more when I was younger, and I think the last Masterpiece I grabbed was Starscream, and I've had to allocate funds for other things since then, right? So, but I like what I'm seeing from not only just like Takara and Hasbro, but also like some of these third-party companies. Like it's neat to see that Hasbro and Takara haven't gotten all upset about a little bit of friendly fan competition, right? I mean, it's kind of promoting to a different market, right? So
yeah,
but it's nice though to see it seems like the companies are really trying a little bit more. I mean, comparing to where when we grew up with like G1, right? A lot of the Transformers were like bricks, right? My first Transformer was Trailbreaker. I mean, until he broke, and unfortunately, I still love the die-cast pieces and stuff, and I wish a lot of the newer stuff had that, but there's other ways of other things that are more positive now with the way they design the toys, a little bit more movable parts and stuff like that, right? But then you see stuff like the movie line where it's like one step, right, and then it's like, man, what a disaster. I mean, I don't know. It's like, come on, kids aren't stupid. They can learn how to transform something. It's like, I know that the movie line. It's like if you're gonna have character designs that are gonna be extremely complicated, like the way they do things, well, of course it's gonna be extremely complicated to transform them. But I mean, kids aren't dumb. They can transform toys. Like I gave my kid a few years back a Bumblebee. It was a small one. I think it was the deluxe class or whatever, and he could transform it without a problem. I mean, I think it's just Hasbro's trying to rack up sales in some way,
Yeah, I went into Target. I think it was just a couple of days ago, and I was looking for something. There was this mom and this grandma, and they were wanting to buy something for, I believe they said a 7-year-old, and they were looking the employee in the toy aisle. She didn't know what she was doing, so I walk over there and I was like, "Hey, how old is he? And what are you looking to buy, and they're like, well, he's 7, and should we get him this Voyager Grimlock, or should we get him this one step or something like that, or like a smash and change or something like that Grimlock? And the price difference was like $5. And I said, well, did he, like, what's the last Transformer that he played with? Was it Rescue Bots? Or, I pointed to some of the Generation stuff. I said, or does he play with this stuff? And they were like, yeah, he plays with that stuff. I said, well, then this is what you want to get him, is the Voyager. And I think they were looking at price. Like I said, it was $5 difference, but I was like, that he's going to get bored with it, after a while. To where this, he'll continue to play with it. And even as he gets older, it'd still be a cool Transformer, but I don't think they took my advice, but I tried to help them.
Yeah. That poor 7-year-old kid, man.
Yeah. All right, well, the next thing is I'm just going to flat out call this thing a knockoff, even though I really don't like to talk about knockoffs here.
Always
but
on your side.
Jaim, it's your boy Clone Droid.
Oh, sweet.
They're always going to be your side, and they are coming up with some new update pictures, so you can see that head a little bit closer, the die-cast. So,
sure, this isn't just Hexatron. Mastermind creation.
No, this is their totally original concept. It has die-cast.
Yeah. And they gave it a new head, so they're like, dude, this is like totally new. I don't know how, like, you're not having to pay any designers for anything because you ripped off Mastermind Creations. What is taking so long with this anyway?
Yeah.
Must be something with molding diecast we don't know about.
Like,
well, last week Jim lost a couple fingers because he touched the metal when it was still too hot.
All right, so Deck of Toys, we know last week that they teased, or not really teased, but they just posted them up. We didn't know if they were just bored or, showing us future releases, but a lot of time is going into these I'm just bored, to where we got these now, to where it's Reflector. At least that's who I think it is.
I thought it was just 3 really pissed off Ironhides, but
yeah.
Reflector works too.
I guess you could use the head for that as well, but I was thinking Reflector. I saw 3 heads here as well. It would make sense, and if they're talking masterpiece, now I know who was it that I forgot who it was. I know we talked about it on one Cybercast that there was someone that is also going to be working on a Reflector here pretty soon for masterpiece scale, but I forgot who it was, so I apologize. We talk about so much stuff. That's one reason why we'll still talk about news on Cybercast, but I'm not going to be doing it, on the website, unless you guys want to put it up there. And got quite a bit of Repro Labels new stuff released for this month, but I only wanted to bring up one just because I know Dakota bought this, and
I'm actually trying to sell it now.
Yep, I bought that too.
So what do you think about this upgrade sheet?
Looks pretty good.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, what?
I was gonna say, me personally, I just think Warden, all he needs is a Autobot symbol, but I mean, Repro Labels always goes above and beyond, and it always just looks so fantastic, and there's always so much going on with the sticker sheets they put out. Which is awesome. Like the attention to detail is just awesome for that. But
you even see the inside of the eyes here, how it's like there's a design in there as well.
Yeah. I only really go for just your typical bare bones, because looking at Warden right now, I mean, I like the way he looks now. Like I said, all he needed in my opinion was an Autobot logo. But again, like above and beyond, it does look like a fantastic set.
And he came with a stand, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't want this Warden Maximus?
Warden Maximus.
Just
See, I think that's tight
what it
because
is.
Garrus 9 and all, but I guess that's just me. So.
All right. Well, that is it for. Oh God, what am I doing here? Oh, there we go. All right, it did catch up, and I was still doing the screen share thing, so I clicked on it again. Anyways. All right, Dakota, you want to kind of... I guess before we get into that, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments for Kari here, and we can address those. Please don't wait until we're almost done, because it always seems every episode to where any comments, all right, we're cleared up, we end it, and then here comes like 20 of them. So go ahead and put them in there now, so that by the time we get towards the end, we can address those. But Dakota, you want to tell them and explain to them kind of the way we're going to do the website now, and just kind of the changes that you're going to see on cybercastnetwork.com.
Well, essentially, we all came to an agreement just before we started, really, like just before we started, that we are going to change the way we do things on the website. We're not really satisfied with how we have, with the reception that we've gotten from it, and we don't want it to be just another news site, because there really at this point is no more room for any more Transformers news sites, and we wanted to, because we made that website with us and with what we do collectively and even individually in mind. So we wanted to kind of focus our content more around that. So you're gonna see, likely in a day or two, some pretty significant changes. We're not really going to be posting any more news to the website. The Facebook page and the Twitter page will still be up for that. But as far as the website, how it is and how, what we're going to be doing with it is going to be a little bit different. Well, there will be a section for myself, Josh, and Jaim, and then there will be a section for what we do collectively, and what we do collectively will be the main front page, and then it'll kind of branch off from there. But again, it's something that likely will be a day or two, and maybe 3 days. It really just depends, because the whole layout has to change, and everything else. But we still want to keep fan interaction. We still want to try to build a community for like what we do, but not so much another news site, because again, that's something that's a little drawn out. We want to go in a new direction. So we will still have a members area. Likely we'll still keep the forums, and that may end up being repurposed into something else entirely. So just if you happen to reload the website at some point in the next 3 or 4 days and see woo, do know, I mean, we're still going to keep all the members there, and so on and so forth. It's just we're trying to focus on what we do as a group, and not so much what news or anything like that. So
cool.
Jamie, you have anything you want to add? I kind of did as well, but I was going. If you want to go first.
No, just look for the new changes. It's going to be a totally different process. It's going to be for the good. So don't think that we're going away, or we're giving up on the website, and we're doing this, and we're going to switch to collecting Barbies and stuff. We're still Transformer fans. We're still out there. We're still part of the community.
We can't afford Barbies. That's the only reason.
That's why I got into Transformers to begin with. I can afford them.
And them vintage Barbies, dude, it's something serious. BarbieCon is crazy. So many crazy prices.
As far as Cybercast goes, we're gonna do it like we always did, though. We're always gonna, we're gonna bring up all the news for that week. So, and that's what kind of influences. Also, the fact that a lot of hours went into getting all that news stuff and putting it on the forums, front paging, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff, and there was so many hours that went into it, but there wasn't as much feedback. So it was like a lot of effort and kind of little reward. To where we watched Cybercast, and each one of these things has anywhere from 500 plus to, I think there's some like 8, 9, 10,000 views. So obviously you guys kind of enjoy this format where we, maybe we have a topic, we have the news, and just other things. Maybe we have a special guest, to where there weren't there wasn't even 100 members on the website, so it's obviously people y'all didn't go there for news, but so, some of you might have, but you always tuned into the Cybercast and the Aftercast and the topic show. That's another thing we'll touch on here in a second, but if this is where everyone's going to watch it and kind of get there, I can just watch an hour and a half, 2 hour show, and I got everything. I don't have to spend time all throughout the week looking at this stuff. So we thought that was going to be kind of a lot better for you guys. The other thing, as far as the YouTube channel goes, we did have Cybercast Network YouTube channel. It's still up there, still going to be up there, but we're not going to add any more videos to that. I know that the CCN Transformer Topic Show is going to go on Dakota's channel, which is PrimalSabbath. So if you're not subscribed to them already and you want to see some of those episodes, I think you're going to even put the previous ones up on your channel just so you can have them all in one location. So if you miss anything, everything will be on his channel. I'm going to put some ACON videos on my channel, and then I should get, I think, all but one or two of my BotCon videos. They will be on my channel, G1 Hextron. So there's one day there's gonna be like a ton of videos. So and they're all really good. But anything else you guys can think of?
No, I don't have anything else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to thank Kari again for coming on as our guest and
thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, definitely,
absolutely.
dude. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Thank you.
I guess before we end, make sure that you have PrimalSabbath's contact information.
I was gonna say you have my email, and
yeah, I'll flip you an email after.
All right.
No problem.
I'm typing you something up right now. So if the other guys just want to leave real quick. I'm
not even.
Or they want to outro themselves. I mean, I can't do two things at once, guys. You're lucky I even do video reviews.
He tried to chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. He fell flat on his face.
I freaking had a.
Jaim, you want to go ahead and outro yourself and tell people where they can find you, man?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can.
Sorry, the sound cut out there for a second. Sorry, I didn't know if you said it to me or James.
Kari, why don't you go ahead first then?
My apologies. Okay, so you can find us at Karyuudo and on Facebook at Karyuudo. That's Karyuudo Fansubs. Just search us and like us on Facebook. Thank you.
And his link will be in the description as well. Jaim? You want to outro yourself?
I'm Jaim, VictorySaber77. You can find me Twitter and YouTube. The Aftercast will be airing tonight, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. If you guys want, message me through YouTube, or if you follow me on Twitter, you can direct message me there also. And I'll be sending out the invites about a half hour before. So there you go.
Dakota?
Still typing. Just give me a minute. Okay.
Anyway,
I'm Dakota. You can find me everywhere at PrimalSabbath. I'm talking Josh. Okay, anyways, you can find me everywhere at PrimalSabbath.
All right. And do we have any comments closing?
We did. We had a couple.
Let's address those. I'll do the I get the final outro before we end. So.
That's right. Going back, do you want comments about what we talked about, news-wise, or
just read them off?
All right. Well, here's one from Barrett Prime Games, Chris. So the news this day, my God, guys, I was ready to get a plane ticket and slap you guys silly to knock some sense into you. Punk Wally says, get rid of that crappy background. You need to totally fire your designer. Dust Mite says, Dakatoys is just messing around, fishing for ideas. I know their next project. Ooh.
Deck asked, why does Dakatoys' heads have such pouty lips? And they saw how BotCon DevCon turned out, and they were like, man, Duckface is the way to go.
All right, man.
Punk Wiley, real quick. Punk Wiley said, Mania King. What? Josh, say your words.
Whatever. There's so many, like, there's like official names, and then you have like 3 different third parties all calling them something different. I try to keep it all in my head, but I've got problems, so I can't remember it all. But anyways, you can find me G1Xtron on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page, the G1Xtron, and our community stuff is cybercastnetwork.com for our website, Twitter, CybercastNet, Facebook page, Cybercast Network. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed, and we will talk to you on the Aftercast. So peace.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
Thank you for having me. See ya.